This year's Press Freedom Day comes at a time when press freedom and freedom of expression in Guyana is being threatened by sections of the proposed cyber bill, including penalizing whistleblowers, institutionalization of criminal defamation, and sedition clauses. To this end, Trinidadian-based transparency activist Afra Raymond has stated that Section 18 of the proposed legislation, which deals with those matters, clearly attempts to traverse and restricts the right of freedom of expression.
In particular, this section appears to be aimed at the conduct of the state and the conduct of official affairs, okay? And serious criminal offences are put in. The Act itself creates quite a number of criminal offences. So I'm not in support of that approach. I actually think, apart from it being unsupportable and quite likely in breach of the Constitution and Guyana's treaty obligations, because Guyana would have signed treaty obligations that the other colleagues have referred to this morning. Apart from that, there's also the question of enforceability and bringing the system into ridicule.
Raymond went on to say that there need not be such heavy restrictions and called for the section in the proposed legislation to be reviewed.
Section 18 in the Cybercrime bill actually seems to place some of those operations, whistleblowing, that somebody would obtain information from inside of some official place and send that for you, and then you decide to do a story on it because it's a matter of public concern. And now all of a sudden you find yourself facing a criminal penalty of 3 to 10 years in prison and so on and so on. So that needs to be also rectified. There's a mismatch between whistleblowing and the cybercrime, and we and I'm saying we because it's a society, we have to decide where we stand in this question of information, where we stand in this question of growth and development. Can you have growth and development if you have these serious restrictions on information? If it's not a national defense matter, there's no real serious grounds for having continued those protections and shields and so on.
Meanwhile, President of the Guyana Press Association, Nazima Raghubir, reiterated the need for policymakers in the National Assembly to come together to correct the proposed legislation.
Our association takes the opportunity to publicly urge the government of Guyana and the opposition to discuss and arrive at a consensus to delete from the proposed cybercrime legislation provisions that will amount to the institutionalization of criminal defamation. Those provisions, we contend, must be removed because they are not in accordance with the global shift towards the removal of criminal defamation from the law books of several countries, and these include a number of Caribbean countries. Guyana will be retrogressing instead of progressing by entrenching the criminalization of freedom of expression if certain sections of the cybercrime bill are enacted into law.
This year's World Press Freedom Day is being observed under the theme Keeping Power in Check, Media Justice and the Rule of Law. Reporting for the Evening News, Fanu Manakchand.